That is the number of the Bordas and Bordas hotline. Rob Gateway has a tweet, and you can tweet us at KDPomp, at Paul Zeise. He says, do you guys think the Pirates should go with Steven Brault again on Saturday or try an opener? Apparently, according to John Parado, they're putting Kingham in the bullpen. Really, Brault should be there too, but this opener idea, Tampa Bay kind of started it and used it. Paul, do you like it, and do you think the Pirates should incorporate it?
I don't like it. I don't. I'm more of a traditionalist when it comes to baseball. I think that they're trying way too hard to do too many things, and you know we always talk about it with all the analytics nonsense. That being said, if you're going to use an opener on Saturday, why not just make it Steven Brault? Like what? Like this thing where we're reinventing the wheel, we have to be smarter than everybody else. You know, you have Steven Brault. You know that he's got a very, very short shelf life in terms of if you get 2 or 3 innings out of him, you should be really happy and get him the hell out of the game. The bottom line is, why not just use this? Well, we might use an opener instead of him. Why not just use him?
Yeah, I agree. At this point, unless they're going to bring up Mitch Keller, which they don't seem interested in doing. Also want to talk about the NBA. So we have an update. Portland led by 15 at halftime. Golden State, what a difference 1 from 2 makes in terms of games. Portland couldn't make anything from the outside. In the first game tonight, they made 11 three-pointers in the first half, and that's the difference. They led by 15, went up to 17 in the third quarter. Not sure where it is. However, this was the week we had the draft lottery, and Zion Williamson is the pick that everybody believes. So Pelicans win that, which, you know, we had this discussion a few nights ago, and that goes back to the Penguins when they won. This lottery idea, which I understand why they're doing it, it drives me nuts that teams, and they have a whole bunch of teams involved here. The system is supposed to benefit those who need help. And by you doing it this way, it's a money grab, it's a TV show, and it works. But, Paul, it discriminates against the teams that really need the help. If you have one of the worst teams, you should be in by yourself.
I guess the argument you could make is that if the Pelicans lose Anthony Davis, they will be one of the worst teams, right? I mean, I guess that's, you know, if you think about it. No, I agree, and I think we talked about it the other night. To me, you take the 5 worst teams and put them in a lottery, 6 through 10 in another lottery, and then, you know, 11 through 14
that makes sense to me.
In another lottery.
I like that.
That way, the number 1 team, the worst they can do, you know, is 4 or 5. And the number 5, the best team that can get the number 1 spot is the 5th worst team,
right.
which is
and
still
6 through 10. If you're one of those teams, then the worst you can be is 10. The best you can be is 6.
Yeah,
and I'd rather.
I would be okay with that.
All right, let's go out to line 2. Pete and Squirrel. What's up, Pete? How you doing?
Hey guys, how are you tonight?
We're good.
Hey Bob, I know with the PGA going on, topics are big, like in the topic of discussion and everything, and I know you're a big golf guy. Mm-hmm. But I was always wondering, Bob, how come no one talks about tennis in this time? If you look at the careers of Roger Federer and Tiger Woods, there is no comparison. Tiger Woods is still 3 behind Jack Nicklaus on the all-time Grand Slam chase list. When Federer was climbing the ladder of greatness, Bob, the record was 14 Grand Slams title by Sampras.
Right.
He is taking it to 20.
Oh,
Bob.
I know. He's unbelievable. And I mean, I love watching good matches, especially when you have him against Nadal or if you have Djokovic or any of those guys. But what I'm saying to you is I don't think anybody here wants to talk about it, Pete. We never get calls. You know, we do get golf calls, and there's a lot more interest.
Plus, Bob, it's a sport that requires extreme athleticism.
No, there's no question. But I don't think
that's
why
also a sport that
doesn't
Americans don't play anymore.
Right.
That's a big problem.
Really,
there's a few American women that are worth watching. There's no American. Who's the number 1 American man right now? I mean, is it Isner still or whatever his name is? I mean, the bottom line is back when tennis was actually relevant, at least in this country, you know, you had McEnroe, you had Connors, you had guys that were basically, you know, people we could rally behind. Now it's a sport that nobody in this country plays, at least at the highest level.
Kevin joins us in line 4. Well, Kevin just dropped out. Just as I went to you, Kevin, what happened there? Try to call us back if you don't mind. Now let's go to, is it Herb in Johnstown? Serb. Okay, yeah. Serb. What's up, Serb?
Thank you. I just want to know about the coaching for all 3 teams, Pirates, Steelers, and Pirates. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's the players, or do you think the coaching got to have a change?
Well, first of all, with regard to the Penguins, we'll start there since that is the sport that just ended. I think Mike Sullivan is a very good coach. I think sometimes when you're dealing with a bunch of really talented guys who are considered superstars, it's difficult to deal with them. And I think that's true of any sport, Paul. I think that's one of the reasons why when you have guys who are self-centered and like to talk about themselves, and it's a me kind of game and it's an ego game, it leads to issues. By and large, I think Mike Tomlin has dealt with it. I also think he incorporated a locker room when he first got here that was pretty good at handling players internally. He didn't have to necessarily get involved. That's changed. So, as far as Hurdle, I think all those guys are very qualified for what they do, but I think you need talent to win, a lot of it.
And I think the other part of it is I think all of them we've probably seen the best of them, and we've also seen the worst of them. And I think that in terms of Mike Sullivan, his work speaks for itself. In fact, the success that he's had already, I mean, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt for what happened this season. Mike Tomlin, you know what? He's still one of the best coaches in the NFL, but he should not miss the playoffs this year again, because I think that would be an issue. Hurdle is just, he's trying to manage a roster that's got guys like, J.B. Shuck on it. That's got guys like,
Jung Ho Gung.
Jung Ho Gung. That's got Cervelli hitting 170. Who's got, Kingham or Brault. You look at what he's dealing with. He's done a pretty good job. The team is, 21-19, I think, right?
Yeah, with all these injuries. And we'll see. They need more. And they had an opportunity to do more in the offseason. We'll see. If they don't draft or develop better, though, by and large, they're never going to have the kind of success they want. They need to get better. That's the one thing they can control. And it's the one thing that's pretty much on an even playing field. All right, let's go to line 4. I think that's Kevin. Kevin is back. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Hey, Bob. Question on hockey.
Sure.
I have a question on offsides. Understand the rules and implications. I'm just going to word this as if I'm playing. If we have the puck in the offensive zone, the puck comes out of the zone, I understand can't be, and comes back in, can't be played while offside. My question is, does everybody on the team have to come back out of the zone?
You have to get back out of the zone and reestablish it.
All or
No, everybody. The puck.
Everybody.
If the puck has to go out of the zone, then everyone has to come back and reset before they can go.
Everybody has.
Yeah.
Okay.
And see, this is the problem. We talked about this last night. Thanks for the call, Kevin. Paul, about San Jose's gotten all the calls. And if you're going to win, no question, you need some luck. But in that Vegas series, they got a call that led to a 5-minute major. To take advantage of it, they did. They scored 4 goals. Yeah. In the Avalanche, that stupid offside, see, I still didn't like that because, to me, by the letter of the law, Rantanen was offside because he was at the bench jumping onto the – he wasn't intended to be in the play. And yet they challenge, they win. That's a big call in a Game 7. And last night we saw the hand pass. That should have been called. That wasn't called. That should have been blown dead. The only thing blown was the call.
My problem with the hand pass situation is my problem with replay in general. If the goal is to get everything right and to get it right?
Yep.
Then you have to be able to review and everything should be reviewable.
But currently that's not the way the rule goes.
Exactly. And
so.
if you're sitting there and you're playing you're playing that game and you're the Blues, you're walking off the ice or skating off the ice and you're saying to yourself, we have the technology to get it right. We get it right in other instances, but in this case, we decided that it's okay to be wrong. That's what's ridiculous.
It is, and that's why they're down 2-1. We need to take a break. We'll take it right now on Pittsburgh CW. Don't go away. We'll be right back.